All right, let's head to Knoxville, Tennessee, where recruits were on hand for a chaotic game in Neyland as South Carolina came to town. But I'm sure recruits left impressed. A big name pair of official visitors was on campus, plus a surprise. Five-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton. He canceled his Oklahoma trip because he wanted to see what Neyland was like on a Saturday night. We're going to talk all about it in this video. Tennessee fans, subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We've just got this page started. We want you to be a part of it. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's bring on Matt Ray from VolQuest. Matt, let's start with the official visitors. We'll go Cam Mikel out of the gate, the two-way athlete out of Georgia. He's been to Colorado, UF, South Carolina, Georgia. But this weekend was Tennessee's shot at him. What are your sources saying coming out of the official?
Yeah, Tennessee really put their best foot forward with Cam Mikel, a guy that has been to Tennessee, has a certain comfort level there, and that was really reiterated this weekend. This visit timed up pretty well for Tennessee. At one point, Cam was planning to take an official visit during November for the Georgia game. That timeline has moved up because his decision timeline has moved up. He plans to make a decision sometime around the 1st of November after he finishes out at Kentucky. But for the Vols, he was on a bye week this week. You were able to get him in on Friday to start that official visit. He enjoyed being around the coaches, getting to spend that quality time that you don't always get during an in-season official visit on multiple days, that is. And then Saturday, it was his first game day experience, and he was blown away. Going into this visit, it felt like Tennessee was at or near the top. I continue to think that Tennessee paces the way for Cam. Wow. But, he's going to Texas A&M this weekend, and that's the team that I feel like is probably the biggest competitor at this point. The Aggies are going to swing hard. He'll see Kentucky at the end of the month, but he tells me that October, when October's over, that's going to finish things out for him. He would like to make a decision by the end of the first week of November, and he currently has no other visit plans at this time. Georgia's trying to get him back to campus, and there has been more conversation there around him playing receiver versus cornerback in Athens. So that's something that I think you have to watch. But I go back to something that Cam has told me multiple times, and it's he has a comfort level in Knoxville. So I think you have to watch out for Texas A&M this weekend. But right now, Tennessee is in a good spot for Cam.
Wow, that's interesting. We'll see. I know the visit made a big impact. We'll see if that visit high can stick with them until that November 1st decision date. All right, the other official visitor on campus was Daniel Hill. He's a running back, 4-star out of Mississippi. And I'll be honest with you, Matt, I've really felt that this is a South Carolina-Alabama visit heading into this trip to Knoxville. What are you hearing coming out of it?
Well, that's kind of how we felt for some time as well. It feels like South Carolina has maybe taken a step back, but it still feels like even though Tennessee put their best foot forward with Daniel Hill this weekend, that they are still chasing Alabama. Long-standing relationship with Jerry Mack, Tennessee running backs coach, a lot of relatability between those two guys. And they've hit it off for some time, but the Crimson Tide have been a constant in this recruitment for Daniel Hill, and it still feels like they're the team behind the scenes that have the most buzz around them. Tennessee, by all accounts, the visit went very well. I think Daniel Hill got to see everything that he wanted and got the questions answered that he wanted. He enjoyed what he saw from the Tennessee running backs. I mean, it was a big night for Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, and Dylan Sampson, all three guys finding the end zone at one point. But overall, I think for Tennessee, this recruitment needs to continue to go on longer. Daniel Hill was originally, his timeline has moved around a couple of different times. Yeah. It allowed him to get to campus at Tennessee. I don't know that you have to get him back, but I just think you need more time to continue working and building off this official visit. If he goes home and looks to make a decision, I don't like where the Vols are right now for Daniel Hill.
Okay. Well, Tennessee put in some work with those two official visitors. They also put in work solidifying commitments. Now, I'm looking at you, Boo Carter. Boo Carter, as we mentioned, he's been one of the Tennessee's top commitments, but he was at Colorado this season. He's been talking like he's got a lot of interest in what Deion Sanders is doing. But this weekend, he was back in Knoxville. And he was working hard. I saw him recruiting Jordan Seaton. He was with some of the other uncommitted guys. What's your take on Boo Carter now that he finally made it back to Knoxville?
Yeah, this was big to get Boo Carter back in Knoxville. There's a lot of comfort for Boo Carter when he's in his element, and that element is as a peer recruiter. And that was on full display this weekend. He was around Jordan Seaton, he was around Daniel Hill, he was around Cam Michael. He's a guy that just relates to everybody, and kids tend to gravitate toward. So for him to be back on campus for Tennessee was big, and I think for him, it reminded him of a lot of the things and a lot of the reasons that he chose Tennessee.
Right.
Boo Carter's process made it into the summer before he ultimately committed somewhere. But last fall in October, he was ready at one point to pull the trigger after Tennessee beat Alabama. And he had watched, fans storm the field and everything that went on that night. He slowed it down and took his time to get to a decision that he didn't feel was quite as emotional. But for him, I think it was really big to be back at Tennessee this weekend. He had good conversation with Josh Heupel, good conversation with Jordan Seaton, and he's really wearing that peer recruiting hat. And expect him back in town in 2 weeks when Tennessee hosts Texas A&M.
Okay. All right. Let's get to it. 5-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton was in town. He was the big name on campus, and it wasn't always supposed to be like this. He was supposed to visit Oklahoma for an official visit. He called me on Wednesday to say that visit's off, and he's taking an unofficial visit to Knoxville. So, Matt, how was his time in Knoxville? We've seen a lot of the pictures, a lot of the video, but what's the word on Jordan Seaton coming out of this one?
Yeah, I think Tennessee nailed this visit with Jordan Seaton. I think they put their best foot forward, and I think it exceeded his expectation and those around him's expectation. I don't know that Jordan Seaton really knew what to expect coming in. I think he had some idea. He was really wanting to focus on the offensive line, and he enjoyed what he saw. He enjoyed seeing John Campbell at left tackle. I think that answered some questions about him in the way that Glenn Ellerbe was able to go from Darnell Wright last fall at right tackle, producing him into a top 10 pick, to seeing John Campbell really have a strong night at left tackle on Saturday night. But when he came out of the visit, it was a lot about the atmosphere and a lot about the quality time that he got from the Tennessee coaches. It helps when you're playing a winning brand of football. I mean, winning is the best recruiting tool that you're going to see, I think. But overall, he got a lot of face time with Josh Heupel. The visit went on into Sunday. So Tennessee really had a chance to show well with Jordan Seaton, and they did just that. And at this point, it seems like they've done enough to earn an official visit, most likely in November.
Yeah, I think so as well. Jordan said going into this one that he just wants to go check out Knoxville. As long as it provides everything he needs to see, he was going to book an official visit. Coming out of it, I think it's safe to say Tennessee will get an official visit from 5-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton. All right, speaking of big visits, Matt, when can Tennessee fans expect the next big visit weekend in Knoxville?
2 weeks when Texas A&M comes to town. A big matchup there. Tennessee fans have been waiting on this one for some time as well. They've had it circled on the calendar. Should be another really good game day atmosphere. Like I said, Boo Carter will be back in town, a host of other commits, and then the weekend will probably be headlined by 2025 elite in-state quarterback George McIntyre.
Wow. George McIntyre is being recruited by the best of them. Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, kind of the main contenders there. So another big visit weekend right around the corner. Matt Ray from VolQuest, thank you for dropping by the Inside Scoop. Some really good information today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Josh. Anytime. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.